Welcome, everybody, to the Got Your Back Short Shift Edition podcast with Jason Strudwick. We'll have Joaquin Gage joining us, and of course, Zoobs. What a night. Oh, my God. I had to put my workout gear on. Big guy was started sweating. I was moving around. I was like, what is going on out here? It is amazing. The Oilers win 5-4 in overtime. They got a power play in overtime. Finally, they weren't able to score, but just a few seconds later, Bouchard with a great pass to Hyman, full, almost nearly 3/4 of the ice. Hyman breaks out, and he gets and rips underneath the arm of Korpisalo, a goal that I think he'd like back. And I'm wondering if that isn't what's going to help kind of break it for Korpisalo, who's played so well for the Kings in this playoff series. We love having you aboard. Thanks for watching us tonight. Jason Strudwick again. GUIB Short Chip brought to you by Mid-City Construction Management, a locally owned family company specializing in civil construction projects for over 40 years. From road raise to excavation, underground activities, utilities, paving, and concrete, they have played a huge role in the infrastructure of Edmonton and surrounding areas since 1980. Let's now bring in my good buddy and goalie known for making massive saves, Joaquin Gage. Thanks for jumping in today, buddy, and holding my hand as we go through this wild ride that was a 5-4 overtime win for the Oilers, my man.
Oh, this is awesome, buddy. I got the text from Shaggy today saying, "Can you do it?" And I text back, "Sure," with no response back until Zuby goes, "Hey, you ready?" I'm like, "Whoa, yeah, let me get my thoughts together here." So, but was very excited to join you. What a game!
What a game, and we'll get to it in a minute, a breakdown. But I'm curious, what is your setup for watching? I saw people in the Moss Pit. I saw people in the viewing party down at Rogers. I had different buddies. They were kind of getting together, but it's like a Sunday night. So, I watched with my family for all, then I went to bed. It was just me and my dog pounding as much tea as I could get down. So what's your way of watching it?
Well, we had to switch things up from Friday, right?
Yes.
I was at my brother-in-law's for Friday. Didn't work. Back home on the couch or in the chair with my daughter, dog, and my wife watching the game. So the views that they take during the game are all over the place. It's amazing what comes out of my daughter's mouth during the game. Like, she started asking way too many questions about Bieksa. First of all, she found him to be a little bit on the good-looking side, we'll say. But no, it was great. We were solid. It was bad, and really, the one that pulled me out of the doldrums after the first period was my daughter. She said, "Hey, it's all right. The boys got this one," and she was right.
I love it. All right, well, let's get into the breakdown. Brought to you by Horse Racing Alberta. Exciting live thoroughbred racing returns to Century Mile Racetrack Saturday, May 6th, just around the corner. Stand trackside and feel the thunder with some of the finest thoroughbred racing in Western Canada. Make sure you're in attendance for opening day for live racing, and you can also watch and wager on the Kentucky Derby. Let's have some fun and go to the races at Century Mile Racetrack and Casino. Opening day is Saturday, May 6th. For more information, stay up to date, head to thehorses.com. This is the breakdown. Jason Strudwick and Joaquin join us here tonight on the Short Shift Edition of Got Your Back. All right, let's get into it. The Oilers, I felt this was a must-win situation. I know that gets a little dramatic, but call it whatever you want. Say it was an important game. Come out, play pretty good first 10 minutes, Gage, and then bang, 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 and it's 3-0, and everyone's just like, what is going on here?
I was worried about Fiala. I ran into David Oliver in the press box a few weeks ago, and he was mentioning how the Oilers, I don't like them matching up against the LA Kings because if Fiala just adds a different element in that team. And gosh, does he ever, man, he's a whale of a player. But yeah, I really thought it was over, Struddy. That after that first period, seeing how the Kings were just dominating in every aspect of the game, just every single battle they were winning. Puck battles, getting the puck in, like Korpisalo was made probably 3 saves, taking goals away from the Oilers in the first period. I'm just like, I think this might be it. Like that, I can't believe one player does that much for a team, but they looked unstoppable.
Yeah, they really did, and they look so fast. They were forechecking hard. Now, to be fair, I thought the Oilers had a pretty good first 10 minutes, but they came hard. They were coming at him. Stu Skinner, we'll get to the goaltending situation later, but I don't know that those were necessarily laid at his feet. I see a couple lost battles. Vinny Darnay, pretty trying to be aggressive at the blue line, just doesn't time it right. And Arvidsson's able to spin off and goes in and puts a shot, 5-hole on Stu Skinner. Probably not a goal you want. You look at the controlled breakout. You can kind of see it, and those have been pre-scouted. It wasn't like they just pulled this out of midair. This is something that the players of the Oilers would have known, and you can kind of recognize what's going on and where do you need to be and what your role is in any situation like that. And unfortunately, get a nice break off of that, and there you go. So, and then the PK goal where, I thought Bieksa did a great job breaking down that PK goal where it's, three chances to just get the puck out of that danger zone, which is the front of your net, and they weren't able to get there. And then listen, LA's trying hard too. The Oilers guys are trying hard, but I think you put it well. They were kind of on the other side of it. So you go into the locker room, obviously some things that would have been exchanged between the coaches and the players, or maybe players would have talked about it. I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the upcoming days about what was said. But where were you on the situation of Skinner, stay with him, who's been good for, extended period of time here, let's call it the whole season, or putting in Jack Campbell?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about it too, and I really wasn't sure but I can see why. After the game, after thinking about it, Struddy, it's kind of that mono that Stuart Skinner got into with the shooter and basically all those goals, and he got beat, right? So that's tough, where he was making a lot of those saves before. So I liked the move. I think, as a player, when a goalie gets taken out, even if he wasn't playing great, but he was playing okay, you're like, oh my gosh, we got to get our goalie out of here. Everyone picks it up a little bit, and the Oilers just went right back to, I think it was said on the broadcast, lunch bucket hockey, right? And you played it, and as soon as they started playing like that, I'm always reminded of your good friend Jaromir Jagr talking about when he played with the Philadelphia Flyers, and they were in a series, I think, with the Penguins, and he just goes, look, it gets to a point where you're working just as hard as the other guys, but your skill will eventually take over. And I think the Oilers looked at this game at the start backwards, like looking at the skilled game, trying to implement that into the game, but really it was that lunch bucket style that got them back to feeling good about themselves, because then once they can match that intensity of Kings, I think the Oilers are just operating at a way higher skill level with some of their players that they can create way more chances for themselves.
Yeah, I love the way he broke that down. I want to get into that too, but I'm going to just pat myself on the back for a couple minutes. For months, I've been talking about on this podcast, and unfortunately, Ryan Rishaug is unavailable to join us tonight. But for months, I have been saying they're going to need Jack Campbell. And Ryan Rishaug, well, they got to treat Stuart Skinner like the starter. And I was like, yeah, I get it. He's playing better than Jack Campbell. But at some point, the Oilers are going to need him. And I brought it up. If I said it once, I would probably said it 20 times over the course of the last 5-6 months. I've been repeatedly saying it. And not because I'm Jack Campbell's agent or his uncle or even a friend of his. I believe that in the playoffs, you need two goalies. You're going to need two. Now, you might play one all the time, and Vasilevsky does, but there's no Vasilevsky here in Edmonton. You're going to need two guys. So the stretch of games that Campbell had heading to this playoffs where he felt good about himself was huge. He goes into that game tonight, and I would have put him in there. And I like how you talked about, he getting beat 1-on-1 with shooters. No problem. I would have put him in that game tonight, and I would have, if I was a coach, I walked in and said, look at guys, Stuart Skinner has held you guys in this a lot, and a lot of you haven't delivered. He's getting pulled because of you. He's getting pulled because of you skaters, not because of the way he's played, not the way because he's played tonight or what he's going to do. He's getting pulled because of you. That's what I would have said. Now, you better figure this, and I would have used a few more colorful language. You better figure this out. Campbell, you're going in there, and you're going to be good. Don't screw this guy over as well. Boom, closed door, I'm out. Let those players sort it out and get it going. Appeal to their pride and for feeling bad about Skinner. So, they put Campbell in there. He made some good saves, man. He didn't get a lot of shots early, but he made some good saves as we kind of rolled through the period and then into the third. But I want to just pat myself on the back and acknowledge my greatness as far as getting one thing right with the goalies all year on this podcast. Now, as far as the play of the players, they came out and you know what LA is trying to do? They're trying to slow you down through neutral zone. So you have to play a half ice hockey, or what half court offense I call it, where you got to beat them below the top of the circles. And the Oilers did that. That means hanging on the pucks, shielding the pucks, protecting the pucks, playing along the wall.
Struds,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt your flow. I got a special guest on the line here. I have to interrupt and come in. We've got a live special guest.
Is it Jack Campbell?
Yes.
Is it Jack Campbell?
All right, Struds. I'm under the weather here, but this has been months and months and months of you talking about the fact that they were going to need Jack Campbell. Yes. And I wanted you to have your I told you so moment in person with me, live, and able to listen. So go for it, buddy.
I'm not like that. You know, I'm not petty. You know, I just want you to hear and say,
you were right, though.
I know I was right, and that feels so good. Oh my God, is that good? I haven't got one call about the goalies. I never once said who the right goalie was starting, but I was right about the most important moment of the goalies of the entire season. So I mean, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, am I a goalie guru? Am I a genius? No, I just, and I said it before. You're gonna need two guys. So yeah. So thanks for hopping on and acknowledging my correctness. 1 out of 100, but it was a big one, and it probably counts for 100.
Yeah. Hey, broken clock is right a couple of times a day. Gage, you're sorry I didn't get it back to you again today. I'm in one here, but I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah. You guys have a good show. I'm going to let you guys get back to it. Start talking about Vinny Darnay on that left side.
Thanks for hopping on and acknowledging my correctness. 1
there
100, but it was. He's out. There he is. So he knows it right now. Listen, that's not the last time we'll talk about this. Let's be honest. But anyways, getting back to the situation with the Oilers in the offensive zone, I really think it's that half-court offense where you have to bump and grind and protect pucks and then kind of try to get the puck around and find some open ice, whether it's up to the blue line or across, behind. And they did that. So they did that. They scored. They were able to get it with a power play, and they got on the power play and made it happen. So, it can't be a pretty game. It cannot be a pretty game. And I think what then we kind of move into the third. They give up the goal to make it, what was it then? 4-3, I guess.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what are you going to do here? What are you going to happen? There's 3 players I want to highlight right now that I think have struggled through the early part of this series. Evander Kane, Nugent Hopkins, and then you've got Zach Hyman. And you know that you can't keep those guys off the board all the time, but they need to get involved. I thought this was Kane's best game of the series. I think Hyman, when it kind of gone to third and overtime, obviously he was better. I think Nuge, we're still looking for his best game. But those 2 guys particularly, Kane and Hyman, to me, Gager, they are custom built for that half ice, half court hockey I talked about. And they've got to find it and bring it every shift.
Well, the beauty of Kane is he can play in a multitude of different ways, right? Like, my dog's trying to get that. Nuge waiting for that. Oh yeah, he's trying to get to me. Nuge had some very nice entries with some great passes and gave some guys good looks. So I thought his game was coming along. Hyman he was just a beast down low, just battling like crazy. I was really worried about Evander Kane after getting that, I don't know, that outside of his knee kind of, I don't know what that was, Struds, and then he got that awkward hit and kind of went 10-2. And I was like, oh, geez, that, I don't know if he's going to, like, that looked like a groin or a hip flexor thing. But man, just his ability and confidence is through the roof. Like to get the puck in the position he had and just have the cojones to just let her buck.
Yeah.
And what a shot, man. Just unbelievable. It always amazes me, guys that can beat NHL goalies on a consistent basis from distance like that. And you saw the look on his face too afterwards, right? He's like, we're not done here. This is nowhere near over. Great job by these guys. Finally.
Yeah. And they needed those 2 guys. So you look and they get the power play in overtime. I know Oilers fans have been very critical, and I'm slow to criticize the refs. I mean, I think that both teams think they're getting screwed, right? Both teams, both sets of fans, both management, everyone thinks that. And if you're really watching, I mean, there's some calls that go both ways that aren't called or are called. And I understand it. I get that there's some concern about that, but I think you got to look at it and say, okay, well, this is what it is. And they get an overtime, and everyone wanted that power play. And you know what, Gager? They didn't get a lot done on that. McDavid had the one good chance, but it wasn't like it wasn't as crisp as you normally see. But I think we got to give credit to the Kings on that PK.
Yeah, no, I mean they did such a good job of spreading out the top guy for the most part, and that shot, I think that was going in, and who was it? Deneau got out there to block McDavid's one chance. But I think it was, even though they didn't score straight, I think their game was building in that first overtime, and
I like it.
What that can do for your skilled guys, the puck was just handling the puck, feeling good about it, getting some good one or two good chances. I think they were able to take the momentum from that more so than the Kings were of killing off that penalty. They were more like, phew, it's gone. These guys are operating at 50%. That's pretty good. Where the Oilers will go, okay, now we got this thing. They used it way more to their advantage.
Yeah. Let's get into the Weiss Johnson soundbox. With 54 or 45 years in the business, should you need a new furnace, garage heater, air conditioner, hot water tank, or any of these things service, Weiss Johnson is a place to go, a great local company with the experience needed to meet your every need. So this one comes in from Peter. Obviously going to be lots of questions about Vinny and Broberg. But how about Kulak stepping up and playing huge minutes down the stretch from what I felt, taking some stress off Nurse? Okay, let's first deal with Vinny and Broberg. Vinny Darnay, on for the power play goal against, or PK goal, I guess you want to call it. On for the Arvidsson kind of spinorama off, trying to step up on the line. And I love that he's playing on his toes. I love that he's trying to make that play, but you got to understand who he is, like who you're going against, the moment, the time of the game, all that stuff, right? And so after that, Vinny, I believe if I counted like three shifts, like after that, then him playing the third. But up stepped Broberg. I was actually texting with a former teammate of mine, and we were kind of going back and forth. And he's like, what are they going to do? I'm like, I think they're going to play Broberg. And he did get out there. So they both played around 7-8 minutes. Really, Vinny the first half of the game, Broberg the second half. But I kind of like Broberg's game. Now, he's not a heavy player like Darnay, but he skates and moves really well. And maybe with Fiala and Velarde now in the lineup, maybe they need more speed in defending, or defending with speed rather than defending with sheer size, Gage. Where do you come out with that? Then we'll get to Kulak after.
Yeah, I mean, even over the last few games, Struddy, Vinny's had a little bit of issues with the foot speed of some of those little buzzsaws on the Kings, especially down low, spinning off of them. I mean, that move that Arvidsson is, let's give it its fair due. That was a pretty sweet move. Nice. that he pulled, but I think a veteran player that's had that done to him a few times at that level recognizes kind of what could happen in those situations and situate himself appropriate on the ice at that point, right? So yeah, I think we're just seeing essentially a rookie defenseman. And when you had Broberg, man, the guy he defends with his feet. Like, that's what they said about him when he came to the Oilers. Yeah. His ability to defend comes from his skating ability mostly. And I think that really suits that because of the way that the Kings can cycle, and they're just so quick at down low. He defends better at this point. Really great story for him. I don't know what you do next game. It's I still got to sit back and relax a little bit. I'm still wound a little tight here to start making decisions, but I do like Broberg's game. I'm sure they'll still go with that 11-7 just because of this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'd agree with that. Now let's talk about Kulak. I've liked Brett Kulak's game since he's arrived here with the Oilers, but he was, if not the best, one of the best couple defensemen for the Oilers tonight. He was all over the ice. He was, up the ice, making plays, leading the forecheck, defending well. He was very engaged, and I think he's kind of a perfect fit for what they need right now. He can skate. He's big. He's strong. He can make plays. Man, did he have a good game today. I think he was 20 minutes, and he was all over the ice. And then if you didn't watch the game, in overtime, they dropped down to 5. So they addressed 7. Vinny didn't play, let's say, called the second half of the game, barely at all. Broberg kind of played the second half of the game. They got to overtime. It's like, okay, guys, we're down. Kulak, left side, right side. I think at one point he had the pads on. He was all over the ice tonight. And man, if he can continue to play like that, that gives you 5 guys you feel pretty comfortable with on the ice, Gage, as a defenseman.
Well, I remember when watching the Habs go to the finals and seeing Kulak, and then when the Oilers got him, I was like, oh my gosh. And last year in the playoffs, that's who he was. That's what he was doing last year. So at the start of the regular season, I was a little bit too excited for Kulak. I thought he struggled for probably the first half of the season, but this is playoff Kulak. I think he's been awesome this whole series. The way he's jumping in the play and the confidence that he has getting the puck on net, he's great, man. That's the Kulak that we saw last year, Struddy, in the playoffs.
100%. And he defends he just covers so much ice so quickly. He's a big man. Okay, another one for our Weiss Johnson soundbox from Pearly Adam. The McDavid hop after Hyman scored put a smile on my face. And I agree. You don't see a lot of NHLers hop like that. You see it in young kids playing hockey, but you don't see him in that moment very often, Gager.
No, he's pretty reserved guy. It's nice to see the emotion come out when they score, but Connor's really, he's grown up. He's a mature hockey player now, and he realizes, I think, that he can't do everything by himself. He needs these other guys. And when he sees his teammates' success,
yeah,
you can see he smiles and is happy. He gets in there. His own stuff, he gets excited, but it seems like he's a little bit more pumped for to see everyone else do well, because that means the team's doing well.
Yeah, and it's just, you saw Leon come in there. Leon, who I believe has been on for every single goal the Oilers have scored this playoffs. It's amazing. He's playing a ton. We got a tweet in here. I forget who it was from, but they said, I would expect him to play 40 minutes on Tuesday night because of the way he's playing. But also, the Oilers don't play till Saturday. So they play Tuesday. So what is Sunday? They'll fly home, I'm guessing, tomorrow. Probably nothing happens. A morning skate Tuesday, if anything. Yeah. And then you play Tuesday night. And then you don't play till Sunday or Saturday, which is a really crazy schedule. So I agree. You are going to unload all those guys and play them right, because that's a huge game. Obviously, they're all huge. But if you can get that one, you then have 2 chances to win game 4. And you're looking pretty good.
Well, and also, if I was in that situation and going down or losing and going home down with the other team with the chance to eliminate me, that's a long time to think about it too, right?
I like
that. Sucks. I hated that when there was a space in between a game where we lost, and you just thought about it way more. It was always better if you thought about it, you kind of you went to the rink the next day and you were playing right away, so you didn't even have time to kind of dwell on the giveaway or the bad goal or anything like that caused because all these games are 1-goal games. This series is some of the most enjoyable hockey that I've ever watched with the emotions and stuff. This is, I don't know, it's crazy what this series has done to me.
It's amazing. Whoever comes out of this series, and I think most people hope it's the Oilers, is going to be battle tested. Like, that is a hard series, tight, very, very tight. All right, let's jump into our takeaways, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. We're thrilled to welcome our newest sponsor to the Got Your Back podcast with Shager, and obviously myself, Jason Strudwick, tonight, Joaquin Gage, your fan cave specialist. Whether it's your office, your basement, bedroom, or wherever you let your fandom scream out, Pro-Am Sports is a place to go for incredible sports memorabilia. Established in 1989, a truly local company that has lived and breathed every win, every loss, every up and down right there with you. They have memorabilia for every budget. In Edmonton on St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of the Yellowhead, go to proamsports.ca. Oilers win 5-4. Hyman scores the overtime winner. Kane gets on the board with what I'll call a real goal, not an empty net goal. Nuge still has to kind of find his way offensively into this series as far as scoring. Scoot Skinner has played all the periods. After the first period, they pulled him out. And they go with Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell makes some significant contributions as far as saves, gets the Oilers into overtime. The Oilers win 5-4. My question to you, and our takeaway question here, we'll get Zuby to jump in here as well in a moment. Who starts game 5? Now a best of 3, Oilers and Kings. Who do you start and why Joaquin Gage in the pipe the Oilers Tuesday night?
You go with the soup, man. The soup's hot. I love the story of it all, right? So it just, if I storyboarded tonight's game, just Jack Campbell coming to the team with a chance to win the cup, his season just goes right down the pooper. He finally shows glimpses again at the end of the year. The young guy's taking his job, comes in a game where they're like they could be put into an elimination type game for the next one, down 3 goals, and take like season on the line saves. I think like just some of the battling that he had to do to feel comfortable in net. I mean, I remember back when the Caps won. This is shades of Braden Holtby that year, right? So you let the old guy, he's been in game 7s before, haven't gone his way, but he knows what it's like to play in these types of situations. It's not his first rodeo here. So I think you go with him until he bucks you.
Zuby, let's welcome in Zuby, our fearless leader here tonight.
Oh, hello.
What does your vote go, sir? Campbell or Skinner, game 5 in Tuesday night?
Such a difficult decision, and I'm not going to sit on the fence. And I love that Gager says go with soup, because with the story, absolutely, the story would be incredible. And I think he has it in him to keep it rolling. But I think you go back with Skinner, and maybe it's a shorter leash. Maybe you feel like you've really got that confidence to go back to Jack if you need to. But that's my gut feeling, is still you go back to Stu.
Yeah, you make a good case. I think we all know what Ryan Woodshog would say. I'm sure he's listening right now. I think we know.
I'm playing the role of Ryan tonight. I'm just filling in for him in that way as well.
Yeah. So I guys, I was on the fence until something earlier you said, Joaquin Gage, and you said this, and I put it in, but you said he was getting beat by shots. And it was in, can you just say that again, how you said it, so it's not in English instead of needing subtitles like mine?
As a goalie, when you get beat clean, like in one-on-one situations with the shooter, it takes a little bit of your soul away. And tonight, Stuart Skinner had multiple chances. It was in good position, and he got beat by shots. And that's another reason I think they should stay with Campbell.
Yeah, and I just for that comment you make, it makes so much sense, and I would agree. I think that I would also go with Campbell. I have been saying all year that they're going to need him, and it might not be. Let's say they win the next 2. You might start Skinner the next series. I don't know that, but everyone needs to contribute. When I look at Stanley Cup winning teams, it always feels like everyone finds a way to contribute. I think Derek Ryan played a great game tonight. Bukestad was a beast. These guys played so well. And Campbell came in out of nowhere. They're down 3-0. Get in there, big guy. And he found a way to win the game. I think you got to go with him. I don't think I go with him on Tuesday night. Now, there's going to be a lot of said between now and that game time. We're 48 hours or less than 48 hours away. It's going to be very tricky to figure out what does happen. But I really think that's what's going to happen. Now, on the other side, Korpisalo's played really well for the Kings. That shot that Hyman beat, I think it went through him, and it was a weak goal. Gager, you go first, then Zuby. What are your thoughts on that with Korpisalo? Does that open up his mind to maybe he's got to come down to reality?
Exactly, man. Does it ever? Those 2 goals, he had the game. He had the game on his stick. Right. And Kane's goal, getting beat clean. As a goalie, we're so arrogant. Struddy, you know this. We think we're so awesome.
We know that.
And and so when people like when you get those like stoppable pucks that in your mind you think you should have, especially pucks that last one, Hyman, because when you feel it, but it still goes in, that drives you nuts. So 2, I would say, poor goals from Korpisalo, where I would love to see the Oilers get into a more shoot from everywhere kind of mentality and crash that net a little bit more, especially now when you got him possibly thinking, okay, I got to do something. Everything was going great for me. I got to make some adjustments probably.
Zoobs?
Yeah, Gager might not know that I'm in the union too, that I play goal as well. Never at the same level, but yeah, I mean, he's bang on. The Kane goal, he's just moving to the right a tiny. I mean, it's a beautiful shot, but that's exactly what I think about after I play in my crappy beer league. After a game, I think about which goals did I let in that were shots, that weren't rebounds, that weren't tipped, that weren't a breakaway, whatever, that was like a shot that I could have saved. And those they break you. And that, and it was funny because my wife and we watched the overtime goal and I said, oh, that was 7-hole. That was under the arm. I hate those. And she said, no, it wasn't. We had to watch it like 4 times. I had to show, I go, look, you can see the little flutter on his jersey that went through there. Yeah. And it absolutely, I think Korpisalo has been so good. And those 2 goals could absolutely be in his head Tuesday. And as a fan, I hope that they are.
Because that's the other side, right? Because now that's the other side. Now that there's questions. They gave up. They blew a lead, 3-0 lead. The Oilers come back, win in overtime. The power play, all these things. Now I think it's, I'm not like the Kings are resilient, obviously, but I think it evens things out a little bit. Now the dialogue's gonna be equal on both sides. All right, guys. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for tonight. I know that Gager's got to get back and watch some more episodes. What are you watching now? Is it Ted Lasso or what are you, Transatlantic? What are you watching?
I got to do some Mandalorian tonight. I'm Star Wars, buddy. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I love it.
All right. You can watch the what is it? The Notebook again. So fire that up.
You loved it. You've watched it so many times. You have it on VCR and beta. You know every word by heart, as Billy Ray Cyrus would say. All right. Well, Gager, thanks for jumping on today. Really appreciate it. Zuby, thanks for holding our hand. I think we did a good job. And no matter what you take out from tonight, just remember, I was right. And that's all you really need to know. That's really all that matters. The Oilers won, and Jason Strudwick was right about the goalies. For months, I've been right. Like a visionary.
I'm getting a shirt made. Struds was right.
He was right. Finally, it only took 2 years. All right, guys. Thanks for this tonight. Thanks to all our sponsors for joining us, and thanks for tuning in. You can find all the uploaded all the various places you can check out for podcasts. Thanks for this. We'll have another one coming up shortly, I'm sure, when Shagar's back up on his feet. So for Gager, myself, Zuby, and Ryan Rashog, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all at the next time. Good night.